Some Heroes news coming your way. This is the King Surprise.
Ultima.
And this is MGT Cast. And today we are going to be talking about some Heroes of the Storm stuff, like I said at the beginning. The new patch comes out this Tuesday, so
Sir.
For those of you who don't do research or just come across the video, I mean, have a seat, stay a while and listen. So, with that said, Ultima's a bit more I say a lot more engaged in Heroes of the Storm than I am. So,
What?
this will be news to me as well. So, you can go ahead and take that away.
Okay, so this is the final patch of the Eternal Conflict event for Heroes of the Storm, which is basically the Diablo-themed event. So, two of the biggest things, we're getting a new map, and we're getting a new hero. The new map is called Infernal Shrines, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
And so it's three lanes. And so once there's shrines, and once shrines become active, it's sort of like shrines just like Diablo. You have to kill X amount of enemies. And so the first team to kill 30 Guardians will summon a Punisher. And I don't know if that's what they're called in Diablo, but I'm pretty sure from Diablo.
No, I don't think they're called Punishers, but yeah.
Yeah. So the big giant things. The thing that's different about this is, while they are for siege as well, they actually prioritize heroes when they're pushing. So they're very aggressive, and you can get three different ones. There's Arcane, Frozen, or Mortar, just like all the was it enchantments in Diablo?
Yeah.
Enemies. So that's the new map. The new hero is Kharazim, who is the monk from Diablo 3, and he is the first Diablo support, so that's nice. So basically he's a melee support, and something different about him is at level 1, instead of picking a talent, you pick your trait. And so basically all the traits are the same, it's just what they do on your... So every third basic attack, you can either select to heal a nearby allied hero who has the lowest amount of health. You can either deal 100% bonus damage on your third attack, or you can restore mana on your third attack. Then he has a dash ability, which allows him to jump to an enemy or an ally. He has a small area of effect healing called Breath of Heaven. It also grants movement speed bonus to everyone in it. And then he has something called Deadly Reach, which increases his attack speed and attack range for 2 seconds. And then his heroic ability, Seven-Sided Strike, which just strikes 7 times, doing 7% of whichever target's maximum health damage. And then Divine Palm, you cast it on an ally, and if they die within the next 3 seconds, their death is prevented, and they're healed for an insanely large amount of health.
Also, that just to add into a little bit, the Seven-Sided Strike, it actually also it prioritizes the hero with the most health. So, and then it jumps down from there. So,
yes. So I mean, there's a couple things about art, more or less, but nothing really too huge. Tyrael and Tyranda's Tyrael's demonic skin and Tyranda's blood elf skin are coming back because they were worked on, because Blizzard felt they kind of weren't up to snuff, so they worked on them. They're making it so now bundles that have, I believe it's 3 or more items in them, if you own anything in the bundle, you now actually get a reduced price. And they said they're going to be working on trying to give players back gold who bought bundles which they already owned things in them. So that's nice. I don't know if the gold's coming right away, but that's their plan. So they also announced that. Ranked play is getting reset. You can now no longer 5-man queue for Hero League. You can only 4-man queue or lower. And if you 5-man queue, you'll automatically go for Team League.
Makes sense.
Blizzard wasn't quite happy with the way things were rank wise, so they wanted to redo everything, and because they're still trying to make sure they got everything right before they start an official season. And they said sometime coming soon they're going to add something post rank 1, which is going to be called Grandmaster. So after that, the biggest things, I'll just highlight some heroes that are getting changes. Falstad, they're buffing Mighty Gust because people don't pick it. It's getting a lesser cooldown and a longer slow on it. That's its ultimate ability. Jaina, they are trying to get people to pick Ring of Frost because no one picks it. They're lowering the cooldown to 80 seconds, so it's the same as Water Elemental, and now when you summon in your Water Elemental, you don't deal damage or chill anyone where it spawns. Kalthos is getting a huge rework. Kalthos, they said his win rate was fine, but they strive for build diversity, and Kalthos had one build. And that was basically you just waited around till 16. You got Flamethrower, which increased your Q's distance or range at 13, and then at 16 you got your Q also applies your W, and it was incredibly powerful and almost broken almost. But they're reworking that. Instead of the Ignite talent's removed at 16, instead he's getting something called Fury of the Sunwell. So now when you cast Flame Strike, which is his Q, it'll cast a second Flame Strike 1 second after the first one explodes. So not as strong because it's going to be a lot easier to dodge, but it'll be good for zoning, I think. Most likely. Living Bomb is getting buffed in its initial stages, but its talent Fission Bomb at level 7, which is another one of those most often picked talents, that's getting a nerf. It's only going to increase its damage by 30% instead of 75%, but now it adds to the explosion radius. And then Pyromaniac, which was a talent no one also picked, is getting changed. So now anytime Living Bomb is on someone, it reduces all your basic ability cooldowns by 2 seconds per each second of Living Bomb damage. So that's his E is getting a range increase, and his Pyroblast, which is something rarely picked, is getting a range increase. Kerrigan getting a huge rework. I believe you have Kerrigan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, she's getting huge rework because she, like Kalthos, had one build, or one viable build, as people said. So at level 1, everyone would always take the range increase on your Primal Grasp.
Yeah.
So they just made that the baseline. It now just has a 20% range increase. But its mana cost has gone up by 10. Its cooldown is gone up by 2 seconds. But it did, and its damage has been decreased. Let's see. So the two biggest things, Sprint and Blood for Blood, were her always picked talents at 13 and 16. So they took them away from her, and they gave her sort of like similar talents, but they're a little more specific to Kerrigan. So at 13, Kerrigan now gets something called Queen's Rush, and you can activate it to increase your movement speed by 25% for 4 seconds. And if you take down a hero, you automatically gain the effect of it. So you get a 25% speed increase anytime you kill a hero. Instead of Blood for Blood, she gets Essence for Essence. So instead of when she steals the 10% of the enemy hero's health, instead of getting back double in health, she just gets double in Assimilation Shield. She's getting a new talent at level 7, where when she has assimilation shields active, she gets increased health and mana regen.
Lovely.
So that's nice. And then lingering essence, which used to just double her shield duration from 6 to 12. It's now like tripling it. It's going to 20 seconds. So you can have shields up for a long time if you get that talent, which I think is at level 13, I think, or 16. Maelstrom, it's gonna be shorter, but it's gonna do more damage at a time, and it's getting a lower cooldown. Cooldown's going from 120 seconds to just 100 seconds. But here's all the talent she's losing. She's losing focus attack, seasoned marksman, searing attacks, sprint, and blood for blood. That's more or less Kerrigan. Also, now her Ultralisk can be reborn over and over again,
which makes sense because StarCraft, the Ultralisk will keep keep reviving as long as you hit the cooldown.
Yeah, so like as long as they don't kill the egg, once you get that talent,
it'll respawn indefinitely.
Yeah, it'll respawn indefinitely. Raynor. Raynor's getting a bit of a rework. His basic attack damage is getting an increase. And let's see. His basic attack damage got an increase. And I guess apparently when you cast Inspire, which was what buffed Raynor's attack speed, his W, it used to put your basic attack on cooldown. But now it doesn't. So I guess there's now like I guess it's just an insta-cast type thing now.
Because it's like it had a cast animation. That's probably why.
Yeah.
That's what like introduced the cooldown to it.
Yeah.
So they're basically removing the cast animation, I imagine.
Yeah. So it's E Adrenaline Rush, which is one of the things that makes him very new user friendly. It's a self-heal. It's getting a cooldown reduction by 5 seconds. And instead of activated rush, he's got a new talent. Or no, they're removing activated rush, and now when you get fight or flight, that allows you to manually activate adrenaline rush. And instead of removing movement and parrying effects, it reduces the damage Raynor takes by 25% for 4 seconds after you activate it. So make Raynor maybe a little more bulky. One of the big things is they're kind of nerfing his most popular Q build because they're taking away the bonus damage for his Bullseye talent at level 16, but they're increasing the stun duration by half a second. So it looks like they're trying to focus Raynor more on auto attacking, is what it feels like, but I don't know. Thrall's getting some animation adjustments that were like had an issue. Abathur's getting an increase on his healing. If you take his regenerative microbes talent.
Microbes.
Yeah, microbes. That sounds weird to me. I don't know why.
What, microbes?
Yeah, microbes. Microbes. Anyway,
or
what's up, microbes?
Or microbes?
Oh yeah, microbes. Anyway.
Oh crap.
So his hive mind talent, at 20, you can make it so his top hat, which is what the general term among the user base is. His top hat would go on 2 people instead of 1, but it would disperse if the people got far away. Well, now the second top hat is going to constantly search for a new target. So like if it gets taken off someone, it'll be searching to see if there's someone else it can latch onto. But all of the abilities cast on its on the second its damage abilities cast on the second top hat are now only going to deal half damage.
Because symbiote is too hard to say.
Yeah.
I always thought it was strange that people call it a top hat, but I just didn't complain.
Oh, that's what it's called. Honestly, I didn't even remember what it was called just because everyone calls it the top hat.
It's a symbiote.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I play a lot of StarCraft, so I just stick to general terms normally, but
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So let me see who else is getting. Let me look at who's getting small. So I'll go over the people who got some small ones because those are quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So small talents. Sergeant Hammer, she's getting a health buff, and she's getting a damage buff to distant targets via her trait, and she can now siege up more often because they're lowering the mana cost and the cooldown on your sieging. Because they said they want her to be able to move around more and not focus on just finding the perfect spot and sitting there, but she wants to be able to constantly reposition.
Yeah, you know, because it's about that hammer fantasy, you know.
Yeah,
whatever
and
whatever the fuck that means.
We feel like she has a great playstyle and wanted to highlight her fantasy more. I don't get it either, but
makes
you know,
no sense. It just sounds weird to me.
Yeah, Brightwing. After nerf, they said they like what they did with her, but that they overdid some of her nerfing on her trait. So they're increasing the healing on her trait.
They're basically re-normalizing her, basically.
Yeah, and they said it should increase her total healing output to about 15 to 20%. So hopefully people won't complain now when I pick Brightwing.
Shouldn't complain anyway.
I know. Malfurion, one of his talents, Rampant Growth, they're buffing it to increasing the initial heal of his regrowth by 50% instead of just 20. Rhaegar, they're reducing the cooldown of his attack, his offensive ultimate ability or heroic ability. They're reducing the cooldown by 30 seconds.
What is his offensive heroic ability?
Bloodlust.
Oh,
so
shit, no one uses that. Fuck.
Yeah, that's why they're doing it. They're hoping that by giving it a severely decreased cooldown, more people use it. Honestly, the matter of fact is Rhaegar is a healer, and so without his healing ult, he's not as good of a healer. Tassadar, just some mana stuff. They're increasing the cooldown on his Oracle trait. His Plasma Shield, Psystorm are they're gonna require less mana. Getting some talents moved around, just to sort of make it harder. And he can no longer give a buffed shield to minions or mercenaries. That's no longer a talent. They're fixing Chen's Q because it was broken. Sonya, they're making her a little bit tankier. And they're making her Whirlwind heal less on non-heroic targets because they said she was too much of a lane bully.
Well, yeah, because like
she could heal so much off.
Yeah, because you can escape from battle and just go to an open lane and just heal yourself.
Yeah.
So that was that.
So
that
makes
lessening... sense because you know you should have to heal more against stronger enemies and heal less against weaker enemies.
Yeah, so she's healing less off her Whirlwind, but she's healing more when she's doing it to heroes. It's now, instead of doubling against heroes, she's getting triple the healing off heroes, but she's healing less off non-heroic targets. So they're changing Tyrael. Sanctification is now just a general zone that makes everyone in the party invulnerable, and he doesn't have to cast it anymore. He doesn't have to channel it the whole time. It's just a half a second cast time. But they are making the radius smaller and the cooldown higher because now obviously it's going to be not impossible to interrupt, but you have half a second to interrupt it, so it's going to be harder. They're making the cast time on Judgment longer. I think they're just trying to balance out whether or not people... they're just trying to balance out who picks what ultimate. They're nerfing Leoric's trait. Leoric has the highest win rate in the game right now because he can come back incredibly quickly. So they're taking every healing trait. Originally, it did the same amount of healing when you were dead and when you were alive, and so they're now halving how much you get healed when you're dead, because they feel like it was just too strong. And also, he doesn't do 100% increased damage to structures with his Q, because basically he could just sit in a lane and push forever.
Yeah, when he doesn't have any resistance.
Yeah, and the thing is, you really can't stop him 1-on-1. He can 1v1 most heroes in the game because of his W, and the fact that it really doesn't have a very long cooldown. So, okay, so. Oh, right. So, okay, so there's 2 more heroes that are getting a big rework, and then after that, it's just a couple talents. So, Asmodan. Basically what they said was the issue with Asmodan was that competitively, he was really only getting 1 build. And that was his Q build to, make his dunk as strong as possible, his Globe of Annihilation. And then also they said that he had a lot of healing talents, and they thought that kind of didn't make sense for Asmodan, because 2 of them could also heal the team, and they're like, well, that doesn't really seem to fit Asmodan's character. So they got rid of Healing Ward. They got rid of First Aid, Storm Shield. So also a new thing, Mercenary Lord and Superiority are being combined into 1 trait, but it no longer you no longer take less damage from buildings, just minions and mercenaries and bosses. So now he's getting a new talent, level 4, Sin's Grasp, which it's just the activatable damage over time that you can use while you're channeling All Shall Burn, which is his death laser. And then minion kills reduce Sin's Grasp 100 second cooldown by 5 seconds. Yeah.
5 seconds.
Yeah. At level 7, this one sounds like this one could be really good for him. Gluttonous Ward, so you activate to place a ward, and it restores 25% of Asmodan's health and mana over 10 seconds. So basically, it's like a healing ward that does mana, but just for Asmodan.
Yeah. So I mean, granted, he's he needs it for more himself than anything else. Like I said, it fits his character.
Yeah. So his trait, the Bound Minion talent, which is basically Promote, is getting moved to level 7. And at level 20, he's getting a new talent where you can reduce the cooldown of General Hell to 20 seconds, and you can store 2 charges. So that could make for some really good late game pushing, especially if you're building push Asmodan. At level 13, you can get something called Hedonism now, which is reduced Globe of Annihilation's mana cost from 60 to 30.
Hedonism, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. So he's getting they're trying to do different builds. So push build, they worked on demon warriors. So demon warriors are now stronger up front because they scaled really high late game, but they were really weak early. So now they're having them scale less as the game goes on, but they start off very strong to sort of because they basically were saying it almost wasn't worth it.
Yeah, because you need to balance them. You need to balance out his traits so they even out. Because I only used Asmodan really a few times, but like I found those abilities to be kind of whack because they were really weak to start with. So it's just like I was just like, fine, I just won't use it.
Mm-hmm. So. He's getting 2 of the talents that he had for his Demon Warriors removed, but now he's getting the Army of Hell talent, which, well, no, actually, they're changing the Army of Hell talent. He already has it. It no longer increases your maximum demon charges, but increases their damage by 20% and reduces their mana cost by half. So it just makes it a lot more cost effective. And then you can get Hellforged Armor, which is a new talent for them. Demon Warriors will now deal 10 damage plus 1 per level per second to nearby enemies. And then All Shall Burn. So Master Destruction is moved from level 7 to level 1, and it which was the one that decreases the mana cost on his Death Laser, All Shall Burn. And it's also increasing the damage done against structures at level 1. And then at level 7, you can get something called Infused Power, which All Shall Burn gains an additional charge up level, which increases its damage by 25% if you leave it on something long enough. So that's Asmodee. And the last person who's getting a big rework is Nazebo. Not because there's something wrong with them, but again because they feel like everyone only wants to pick the spider build. So spider build's really strong.
Oddly enough, when I pick Nazebo, I try something new with him. I try something different with him every time. It just depends on the map.
Yeah. So he's losing Mule, Clairvoyance, Sprint. They're taking Sprint away from a lot of people, which I find interesting. I guess maybe they find it.
I wondered why Nazebo had Mule in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know what their rhyme or reason was for giving characters Mule. I really don't.
I mean, only certain characters. I mean, I understand why Abathur could use it because he's a specialist. Like, you know, he's an all around, not in your face character, so he benefits from stuff like that.
Yeah, he has a lot more utility. So same thing with Tassar. It's like, okay, he has utility. So they're adding Hardened Focus at level 16, which if I remember right, that's the one where if your health is high, you have decreased cooldowns. So his Gidbin talent, it no longer increases the Plague of Toads explosion radius, but the zombie wall and corpse spider duration is getting buffed from 25% to 33%. He's got a new talent at level 13 called Thing of the Deep, which increases the range of all his abilities by 25%. Which I think will probably be the new favorite at 13 instead of Sprint, since now he doesn't have Sprint.
So, quick trivia: Thing from the Deep is a legendary item that the Witch Doctor can hold. It's a legendary voodoo, or I don't remember what those things are called. But yeah, it's a legendary offhand.
Oh. All right. So Voodoo Ritual trait, his Blood Ritual talent at level 1 is getting buffed to increase the amount it heals you by 25%. So the Zombie Wall, the Fresh Corpses talent, no longer increases the zombie damage, but it reduces the cooldown by 4 seconds. And his Dead Rush talent now also increases the damage by 50%. So they're just trying to make that, I guess, a more, what's the word? Appetizing.
I guess.
Enticing.
Appetizing.
Enticing. I don't know.
I mean, I haven't eaten yet, but whatever.
Yeah. Toad's a Hugeness now also increases Toad explosion radius by 20% each time they hop.
Makes sense.
And level 7, he's getting Toad Affinity, which each enemy hit by Plague of Toads restores 5 mana and reduces its cooldown by 1 second.
That's a real Diablo trait right there.
So his Gargantuan Stomp, the animation's being cut in half. And hovering a cursor over the Gargantuan Stomp on the ability hotbar will now display a range indicator. His Ravenous Spirit is getting damage rework. It's less initial but more per level scale. Like, it scales more, but it's less base damage. I don't know. But the radius is increased by about a quarter, 20 some odd percent. And so that's just to get people to pick Ravenous Spirit, because when they nerfed it because it was super strong, I guess they didn't like that now no one picked it.
I thought that ability was stupid anyway.
Yeah, the hard part is it's a stationary channel, so unlike when they made it so only stuns could stop channeled abilities, since it's a stationary channel, displacements do stop it.
Yeah.
Because you have to be standing still. Okay, so the last thing really is just a couple quick rundowns on the talents, like the broad talents that everyone gets, that they're changing. Bolt of the Storm's cooldown is being increased by 30 seconds because they said a lot of people pick it, but they just kind of feel like you can use it way too like frivolously.
Yeah.
Because it has such a short cooldown, and then this will make it a harder. Now it's not necessarily a must-pick talent.
So they're making it a harder choice.
Yeah, they're making it a harder choice, and if you do pick it, you need to be you need to be very wary of using it.
Yeah.
Cleanse is now getting reworked. So before you could pre-cleanse someone and make them unstoppable, so they'd be immune to like a stun. But now it makes them relentless for 2 seconds, which halves the duration of crowd control. But if you use it while they're stunned or while they're rooted or whatever, it will release them from whatever the CC is.
Which means it works properly because,
yeah,
you would normally think that's what the word cleanse means.
Yeah, it's like that's what they wanted it for, but the problem was people could use it for
prevention, basically.
Yeah,
it's like it's like
they want you to focus more on being quick to undo something rather than prevent it.
Rather than preventing it with a move with a move that has no prevention in its meaning. So
yeah, okay. Focus attacks will now focus attack, which is basically it was the one where every 10 seconds you get an auto attack that does 75% more damage, and then every basic attack reduces the cooldown by 1 second. It now will only proc the focused attack on heroes. But you can still lessen the cooldown by attacking anything. Gathering power, they said it was too easy to maximize your stacks. So now instead of starting with 5%, you start with 0, and each kill only gains 1%, but you can still build up to 15%. But now when you die, you only lose half your stacks.
So basically they're increasing the stacks to 15 then.
Well, yeah, they're increasing the stacks to 15, but each stack is less.
Yeah.
And now you have to start from
0 instead of 5.
But you get punished a little less when you die,
because you're getting less and have to work harder.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they lessened your burden, I guess you can say.
Yeah. So imposing presence, which is something for pretty much just tanks only, which halves the attack speed of enemies attacking you. It's getting reduced to a 40% reduction in attack speed, just because they felt like it was a little too strong, but they didn't want to they said they weren't ready to overcompensate, because they're trying to shift the meta away from only burst damage into making sustained basic attack damage more viable again. So they're trying to also lessen that. I already mentioned Mercenary Lord and Superiority are being combined. And so that's a level 4 talent. Seasoned Marksman. It's basically the same thing, but it's just now enemy heroes grant 3 stacks instead of 2, which I still feel like they should grant like just 1 full stack, because you have to get 6 mini stacks and then it gives you 1 extra damage.
Yeah, they're lessening your burden, but it doesn't really make much of a difference, because it's a dumb way they put it anyway. So
and then probably the last major thing. Okay, so Tomb of the Spider Queen. They said that they were noticing that games on that map were tending to run longer, and that was never their intention. Mm-hmm. And I guess they said this once you got late in the game, the spider mechanic wasn't that strong.
Yeah,
so,
it kind of was just like a what do you say? It was kind of like a just a bit of an annoyance.
Yeah. And so, like, you had to ignore it completely for it to even do anything. So, like, so they're increasing the damage and health scaling of web weavers and their minions by 50% after the 15-minute mark to try to keep games from going exceptionally long on that map.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the main things. More or less, everything else just kind of like there's some new skins and mounts, but nothing too really. Brightwing's getting a price reduction to 7,000 gold and 849, which I guess will be nice. Just I guess a heads up for any Diablo players or Diablo 3 players. If you log into Heroes during the 3 weeks following the release of the upcoming patch, so I guess this is for PC players, you get Diablo for free in Heroes.
Wow.
And then if you reach level 70 with a character in season 4, you will receive Malthael's Phantom in Heroes of the Storm.
Wow.
So it kind of sucks because it looks like console players are getting sort of gypped out of that.
Well, because
we don't have seasons.
We don't have seasons. That's why.
Yeah.
That they give us everything because what it looks like is that the console is not normally like for the leaderboards because they do all their testing. They do all their testing on the PC version. So, which makes sense. Which makes sense in the end because their support for consoles is different. So.
Yeah.
So basically, when basically the PC players they get to prove their dominance, and then they get exclusive and people who participate in the seasons they get exclusive season items. So that's it makes it a little bit more enticing. So, but when it transfers to consoles, we just get everything all together. So. No need to vie for a leaderboard there. I mean, not that it. It makes sense because all there is on the console versions now are cheaters. So,
is it that bad?
I can't go into a game with it. I can't even have fun in a Rift because I feel like I'm gonna be overexposed to fucking XP gains.
Damn. Did you? What? How many loves did you gain that one time?
Like 40.
Jesus.
Like between 40 and 55 or something like that, which was not something I feel bad about participating in such an action, but so it happens. So
yeah,
but
I don't know. Maybe one day I'll get the PC version. I don't know.
I mean, I'm looking to do that myself eventually because I already have Diablo 3.
Yeah. The only thing that sucks for me is you gotta buy both.
Yeah.
I believe.
So all I need to do is upgrade. So
I'm hoping like StarCraft eventually they'll come out with a
battle chest.
Yeah, like a battle chest, and so I'll be able to get everything at once. Just.
Yeah, I'm looking forward for a battle chest to come out because I'm looking for you to play StarCraft. So.
Yeah. So hopefully after this Legacy of the Void they'll come out with some kind of battle chest. Either that or maybe they'll all go on super sale at once, all three.
Which would be cool. So, any more important things coming out of Heroes?
No, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, not much else goes. I mean, like I said, they're resetting the ranks, so that's happening. They're also refund anyone who paid 500 gold to make a team for Team League. They're refunding your gold. And
because that idea was just stupid anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, basically that's it. Again, what they're planning on. They want to see how rank goes right now with this setup. Also, just a heads up for the way ranking's going to work now. It's going to be a little easier to lose your rank 1. than it was before. And also, before, I don't know if it'll count in your ranking or not, but I guess starting in ranked, you'll get like you have to play X amount of games. Those will be placement games.
Yeah, they do that in StarCraft.
Yeah.
You have to play 5 games to get placed,
Yeah.
and depending on your performance, that's where you get placed.
Yeah.
So
So they're gonna do that, and yeah, and then like I said, they hope to add Grandmaster, which I'm guessing will be for players who achieved rank 1, and then they wanna work on that, and then after that, then they want to start the actual season. So it looks like we're probably looking to get an actual season, like first season. We're probably looking at early 2016, is be my guess. So that's my guess. Probably late winter, early spring. But yeah, that's about it. New hero drops Tuesday. Healing wise, similar to Brightwing, but he has a Rhaegar like ult.
and he's more offensive, so he can stick
Yeah,
to battle. He can stick to battle. He can stick to battles without being
Yeah.
without being labeled thus a coward. So
Mm-hmm.
then you don't then. Well, I mean, those people will always stay those people, but
Yeah.
with that said, like, comment, subscribe. You know, tell us your grievances. Tell us what you like about this upcoming patch, and you know,
Let us know.
excited for the future as the StarCraft heroes are coming. So, this is
Oh
the Kings
yes.
of Rice.
This is Ultima.
Peace out.